All right, so area number 2. Again, if we fall under our little, my little estimating rule book here for area calculations, we want to try and stick to the simple shapes, squares, triangles, trapezoids, or circles. Those are kind of the numbers we're going to use. Yes, sweetie, I know. Right, so those are the shapes we're going to try and stick to because it just makes the math easier, rather than trying to make up imaginary shapes or create formulas. If we just stick to these basics and we kind of have the idea. So this shape here, I actually don't have to break down. You can, and I'll show you that as well. But first up, I'm just going to solve this using my trapezoid, because this is a trapezoid. Even though one side's cut off, the same theory applies. Because you remember, when we solve for the area of a trapezoid, what we're doing is we're basically trying to find that average area, which cuts out this rectangle and puts it up there. And then same thing, cuts that one out and puts it there, which ends up with a rectangle, right? Well, this one does the same thing, because if I cut it right here, this part's gone and it folds up and becomes here, which means I'm still solving for that average area, average length down the center of this shape. So it still classifies as that trapezoid formula, right? All right, my kitty wants some attention right now. Yes, girl. I know, but I'm working. Yeah. Okay, so first up, I'm going to do this using the trapezoid equation. And then I'll break this up into 2 other shapes. Okay, so first up, my trapezoid. So when I'm solving for this, again, first things first, I'm going to turn all my numbers into decimal feet. That's how I prefer to work. You know what? Let's do this one in inches, right? Just to be different. So what I'm going to do here is my 3 feet becomes 36. So 3 times 12, 36, plus the other 3, which means this equals 39 and 5/8, which is 625, right? And again, if you're unsure about the 5/8, just do 5 divided by 8. That's all it is, okay? Which gives us 0.625. So now I have the 3 feet, 6 and 7/16. Let's do the 7/16. So 7 divided by 16. Yes, girl, I know. That is 0.4375. And then I have the 36, or the 3 feet. So 3 times 12 plus the other 6 inches is 42. And then I have the bottom one here, which is 9 3/4. So 4 times 12 plus 9 gives me 57.75. I have no problem if you guys want to work in inches. The nice thing about working in inches actually is you're only ever going to have 4 decimal places, usually with construction fractions, because 16ths really only have 4 decimals. You don't get into more decimals until you get into 30 seconds and so on. Even then, it's incremental how many decimals you actually have. When you're working in decimal feet, you end up getting a lot of, thank you, sweetie. Thank you. You end up having a lot of repeating decimals, like 0.666, 0.33333, so on and so forth. Okay. All right, Alice, I got to get to work. Yes, good girl. Okay, so trapezoid equation. What I want to do first is I want to average out the top and bottom numbers here. Okay, so again, I don't like writing down formulas because I think it's more important for you to see what's happening and just do that. So we're trying to figure out what this center line distance is, which is just finding the average of this and this. Okay, so if I take 39.625 plus 57.75, I hit equals, and then I divide by 2, which is average. Average equals the sum of numbers, right? So the sum of all your numbers divided by the number of numbers. I know it sounds weird, but it is, right? I have 2 numbers here, so I add them up and divide by 2. If I have 7 numbers, I add up all 7 numbers, divide by 7. That's how average works, right? Nice and simple. So once I divide that by 2, I know that this center distance is 48.6875. So that is my length and width. So area here actually equals 48.6875 times 42.4375. So I will just work that out real quick, 42.4375, which gives me 2,066, and let's just do 2 decimals because this is a final answer, 18. Oops. See, I forgot I was working in inches because I don't normally work in inches. Just out of habit, I went right to feet, but this is square inches. Now here's the trick. To turn this to feet, and a lot of you made this mistake, you just multiplied or divided that by 12. 12 is only the factor to go from feet and inches. It is not the conversion factor to go from square feet to square inches or vice versa. As I explained in a previous video, there are 144 square inches in 1 square feet, which means to turn this into square feet, I need to divide by 144. Okay? Think about that. You have 1 square foot, right? Which is 1 foot by 1 foot. So you're telling me if you had 12 square inches, that would cover the whole area of that 1 square foot, right? 1 square inch or 1 square foot. You're telling me 12 of these will fill up all this space. The answer is no, not even close. You need 144 of them. Okay? So because this is area, you have to use 144. So I'm going to take this value here and I'm going to divide by 144, which gives me an answer of 14.35. And again, I'm rounding, and this is square feet. Okay, so it's either 2,066 square inches or it's 14.35 square feet. Final answer. Okay, so now in green, I'm going to actually break this up into 2 other shapes. Okay, so we can kind of get rid of the trapezoid for this equation. Say, oh, I don't like trapezoids. Say, I don't like them. I'd rather just deal with, triangles and squares and rectangles, right? So let's do that. So let's turn that on there, and I'm going to drop a line right down here, nice straight line, so that this becomes area 1, and then this triangle becomes area 2. There is a little bit more legwork involved in this one here. Oops, I'm going to leave that one there actually. So first up, I should have kept all my numbers, but I didn't. So let's first just quickly write in some values here. So 4 times 12 plus 9, 57.75. My apologies. The right pen there. 7 divided by 16, which means 42.4375. And this one here would be 39.625. Okay, so the little bit of legwork here first is let's work with area 1 first. It's nice and easy because we have length and width right there. So area 1 just is going to equal 39.625 times 42.4375. That's it. That's easy. That one's done. It's just a square, right? Or a rectangle, sorry. So 39.625 times 42.4375 gives me an area of 1681.585938, and that's square inches. So now I want to work out area 2, right? So to figure out area 2, I need to figure out what this remaining balance is down here. What is that value? Well, for that, we just subtract the top and the bottom. So, it's actually more work to do it this way. The trapezoid is a little bit quicker, which is why someone decided to use it. So I have 57.75. I'm going to subtract the 39.625, which means that this remaining section here is 18.125. Okay. Now for a triangle, because of our formula says that we're going to take half the base and times it by height. So if I take this bottom triangle and cut this part out, it's actually going to become up here, which means I just end up having a rectangle that is half of that triangle's base times the height, right? So in this case here, it would just be my 18.125 split in half times the height, which is 42.4375. So let's just do that. Divide by 2 times 42.4375. And I get 384.5898,438, and that's still in inches. So now to get my area total, I just have to add those two values together because it's area 1 plus area 2. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1681.585938, which when I get the answer here, again, this is a final answer, so I can round it. I get 2066.18, right? Again, a rounded value. That's square inches. Now I need to divide that by 144 to get square feet. So divided by 144 gives me 14.35, and that's square feet. And so either way you do it, we still end up with exactly the same answers. So it doesn't matter, just as long as you're sticking to those 4 simple shapes and know how to use those shapes. You're still going to get the same answer and the correct answer. So of course, my answers here in inches would be 2066.18, right? I don't need to write that units in, it's already there. And the feet is 14.35.